she's rejected this inquiry.
What is rape genocide? What is a rape genocide apologist? What is it? You won't say that it's wrong. You don't think that's rather extremist language, rather toxic language?
But you seem rather offended by language. We live in a world, you know, the right to
well, yeah, I'm
free
sure there are
speech
some things that could be said that offend
sometimes
you.
the right to a friend. I will use my language, other people will use
So
theirs.
he could say whatever he liked.
What I want, you seem more worried about a bit of language than actually the requirement to expose the full facts of what actually happened in this situation.
You would accept the grooming gang issue too.
Absolute horror at the highest levels of the government.
Horror? Really? So they're finally taking the grooming gang's issue seriously?
At the incendiary language we have seen from Elon Musk.
Oh, so the absolute horror isn't directed towards the fact that the political establishment covered up the grooming gang scandal, abandoned the victims, in some cases deliberately silenced them. The horror isn't in response to the appalling abuse that these girls suffered over multiple years. No, the true horror is directed towards Elon Musk for daring to talk about it and for...
And this is Off Politics Joe, an extremely left-wing platform. But my point really is that they never once mentioned that it's good that this has been brought to light again. I'm sure there's a big scale reason for it being brought to light again. You know, maybe some hidden agenda to wind us all up against each other just in time for some big food shortage crisis or something like that. But there's not once where they condemn what's happened. It's all about the usual slur words against people who are talking about it.
Racist, fascist, wants to take over the world. I think he's a busybody. Keep himself to himself. Go back to South Africa where he come from.
The absolute irony. If someone was to say go back to Pakistan or go back to Africa or something, you'd be calling it racist, but you say go back to South Africa.
Spend all his billions out there instead of interfering with England.
Rich boy playing games. I think he's a massive
I think it's very controversial and probably not what we need at the moment.
dangerous for democracy.
Well, the far left.
He's clearly stirring the far right. He is just someone who wants to...
Those who are talking about the grooming gangs. I just thought I'd have a look down in the comments, you know, to see if there is anyone at all in the comments who condemns the grooming gangs or even mentions them. Well done, Brits. Everyone was so informed. It's great that each of these people delivers their opinions in a calm and conditioned way. Conditioned, yeah, that's a good way of putting it. There must be one. Elon Musk needs to stay out of politics, no billionaire businessman. Musk is a knob. Fine, you know, if you don't like Elon Musk or Donald Trump, fair enough. But there's not one mention or one time where the lefties on Politics Joe have condemned the grooming gangs or, you know, been thought it's a good thing that it's been brought up into the public light again. The more attention that gets, the better, because there may be a chance of sort of actually doing something about it. The more pressure it's put on the politicians, and the more attention that it gets, because it's still ongoing. It will still be ongoing. There's got to be one. It's so refreshing. It's so refreshing and reassuring to see that these they're still good, sensible, and great British people. But not once do they condemn what's going on. I'll tell you what, guys, it's fucking painful having to sit through these LBC interviews. But again, you know, bringing up Humza Yousaf, you know, the old Scotland's too white and all that. And they don't even, I don't think they've ever questioned him or challenged him on that statement, you know, when he was going on about ministers in Scotland being too white. And you've probably all seen that rant that he went on. But again, you know, this is the lefties.
Humza Yousaf of the Scottish National Party was First Minister of Scotland and its leader until he resigned in May last year. Born to Pakistani parents in Glasgow, he was for a while one of the most prominent Muslim politicians anywhere in Europe. He was also, as I reminded him this afternoon, one of the very first politicians to raise the prospect of Elon Musk interfering in British politics.
So, this is another example. You know, not once does he bring up that rant, but anyway.
Just say that I was worried. I said that he was, in my view, one of the most dangerous men on the planet. This was after, of course, he fanned the flames of racial intolerance here in the UK after the horrific murders in Southport. Everything that he... And
of course he brought up recently, you know, Pakistani men that would have looked like this guy all across England and maybe even Scotland and Wales now. Obviously, deliberately choosing young white girls to groom and rape, and the most dangerous man in the world is the man who brings it up, not the scumbags who are participating in these gangs. LBC, honestly, and Politics Joe, they are just an absolute cancer on the world. These people are. His father left again. You know, I'll have a look through. I'll have a look for someone to condemn. Yeah, so the comments, yes, now you people worshipping the altar of rich men. It's always about money. Absolutely, enough is enough, and these oligarchs haven't even started with full force. Now imagine the outrage of England if an Iranian billionaire was willing to fund someone like Jeremy Corbyn, even though Labour went over to America to help out Kamala Harris. So there we are. Someone's brought it up. Let's see what we've got here. Someone's put, also he was the one saying, white, 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 a very patriotic man, not. And the replies, so someone's put Humza's a woke joke, and when the lefties have jumped up, what is woke? Explain woke, what does woke mean? They won't condemn the racism of Humza Yousaf though, will they?
Telford and Oxford. There appear to have been upwards of 250,000 young white girls raped in this century.
Nobody kicking off there, no gasping, no shock horror.
Largely by Muslim men. And
there's your shock
these
horror.
Girls are usually raped several times a day for years.
Lefty fucking scum.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I have no doubt this bill is based on socialist dogma. It will reduce choice, it will reduce competition, it will take...
Just observe as well how empty the chamber is when they're debating this this bill to protect children.
Grooming gangs are not mentioned once. Rotherham is literally mentioned once in passing. And
that lady there as well, I think she's South Derby Labour MP. Sarah, I think it might be. I can't quite remember. Utterly untrustworthy anyway. Anyone Lib Lab con. But I know she's got a kid because I remember seeing her with a kid once. And you'd think these people would be wanting to protect their kids, but clearly they don't. It's just absolutely bizarre, this mentality they've got. And one day their kids will turn to them and say, well, what did you do during this time period? And people like her can turn around and James O'Brien and LBC and all the rest of them, Politics Joe, people who watch Politics Joe and LBC, you can turn around and say, well, I was supporting it all.